In this video, we're going to be reviewing the 2020 Star Wars Vintage Collection Boba Fett Slave 1. Hi there, Star Wars collectors. Welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video, and welcome to my review, as I mentioned in the intro, of the Vintage Collection Boba Fett Slave 1. It's the reissue from the Amazon exclusive from 2013. But of course, this is the 2020 updated version, which has been hugely updated in terms of weathering and paint apps and all that kind of stuff. And there's a few other differences as well, which we are going to get into. But I just wanted to check out the box first of all, because it does look really, really cool. As you can see, there's a picture of the Slave 1 on the box there with some of the older figures from the Vintage Collection. You've got those security guards, the Bespin security guards there, taking or putting in Han Solo carbonite block into the back of the Slave 1. You've got the Boba Fett figure on the front there, and what does look like the updated Stormtroopers as well, which is pretty cool on the front of the box. That is the front of the box, I believe, or it might be the back actually, because you've got the Vintage Collection logo on there. So maybe if we put it round there, that is actually the front of the box, as you can see there, but it's pretty much the same picture there. And obviously you've got a picture of it standing up. This one does come with a very, very cool stand, which you can just see there. So you can actually have the ship upright, which obviously I don't think came in the original 2013 version. So that's an extra little bit that we have there. Side of the box, just some more images of the vehicle, and it just showing you some of the features. Obviously the carbonite block goes in the front there, which is a little bit weird. We're going to get into that in a minute. The bottom of the ship there, which has been hugely improved in terms of the paint application. And there you can see Boba Fett in the cockpit there. Side of the box, just a few more details, nothing too much to see, and we're going to struggle to get it into camera shot anyway, because it is just a mammoth box, and by all accounts it is a huge vehicle, and I can't wait to get it out of the box. So now we've taken a look at the box, we're going to open it up, put it all together, and we're going to take a look at the ship. And just very quickly, if you were wondering how it has actually been packaged in the box, here's the inserts here, and there you go, there's the ship with all the other bits and bobs, some bits in the baggies there. So yeah, we're going to put this together and we're going to take a look. Alright, so I finally got the Slave 1 out of the box and built. It was in a few different pieces that you had to put together, and there was also some stickers, which one or two of them in the inside of it were rather tricky, but I've managed to do that now. And as you can see, it is there standing on its stand that you also do get with the Slave 1. And I've got to say, first impressions is that it's just humongous. It is absolutely massive. I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't think it'd be this big. It possibly looks even bigger than it should do, because it is on the stand that came with it, which does make it look like it's hovering off the ground in flight mode there. And obviously to go through it with you, I'm going to have to get it on its landing mode and get it down flat on the ground to go through all the details with you. But I just wanted to show you like this, and we're also going to turn it around in a minute, because a lot of the improvements are actually on the bottom of the vehicle in terms of the paint apps and everything. But I just wanted to show you it there on the stand in flight mode. And yeah, we're going to take a look at the back right now. Okay, so here's the back of it, and I do apologise if there is a bit of a wonky camera, but I am having to hold it because my desk just isn't big enough to get it all in shot. So as you can see there, if you have got the previous version, you'll know that the bottom of the Slave 1 is very, very plain indeed. Whereas this one, they've completely weathered it all up, given it a completely different paint deco. And as you can see, the engines especially have been painted yellow with the brown effect, and it's all been nicely weathered indeed, as you'd expect from the Vintage Collection in these days. Okay, this again is yellow. I don't think that was yellow before, but as you can see, if we get a nice close up there, try and get a bit more light onto it, it has all been weathered up. Nice paint application all the way along it. All the way down to the bottom. There you go, there it is on its stand. On here we do have these two little space mines that I have, or bombs, or whatever you want to call them, in the bottom of the ship, and they're controlled by little buttons here on the side, which would retract these little pins here, and then the bombs would fall out, which is a pretty nice feature. There is also some missile featuring on the back guns as well, which I'll show you in a second, but I just wanted to give you a good look at the back of the ship. And then we're going to take it off the stand and put it on its landing position, as it were, because then obviously it's going to fit into the camera and we can have a good look at the Slave 1. Now, one thing to note about the stand is that it does have that cool sort of Mandalorian insignia on there. which I do like very much indeed. So it's a really nice put together stand, and it works absolutely perfectly, really sturdy. It's not going to fall over or anything. So I'm really glad that they've actually, you know, put that in. I think it was needed, but just because of the pure size of this thing and the way you want to be able to display it. But we're going to move that out the way right now, and we're going to take a good look in the light of all the decent paint apps that they've put on here. There's not too much difference between this one and the 2013 version in terms of round here, but on the bits where it's like a clearer plastic or a lighter plastic, you can really see where they've done the weathering up, putting all the detail on there. Again, on these sort of wings, fins, you can definitely see lots of weathering on this part here and on the arm, all on here, whereas on the 2013 one it was a definite sort of just a standard plastic, not too much paint apps going on there at all. Here's the little button there to drop the bombs I showed you before. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift this piece up here to have a look inside. Okay, so I'm going to try and get some good light into the inside. You can see on the floor there's some pegs for your figures, so that's quite good. And see those two little stickers there? I had to put those on. The ones on the back wall, they were already applied, but those two there, I had to put those on for a little sticker sheet. And that one to the left was an absolute nightmare trying to get that in as straight as possible. Bit of a nightmare there. Two more stickers there which had to be put on as well for the sort of control panel to the door, which is pretty good. So there's the inside. As you can see, that is on like some hinges here, which does hold very nicely by itself, but obviously when you push it down it just clips in. Moving on to the rear of the ship, you can see there the two guns. Again, these have definitely been painted up a lot more than the original 2013 version, a lot more weathering going on there, and these are actually missiles that actually do fire, and you just press the button at the back. Let's see if this works. I think that worked. That was pretty good. Let's put that back in. Spring loaded. Take someone's eye out with that. Moving on to the back of the vehicle, and again this is going to be difficult to get into shot because it is just so big, but you can see there's some decent paint application going on the back there as well, all muddied up, which is quite nice. And of course we do have this little ramp, which you could, I guess, stand a figure there to make it look like he's sort of walking out the back of the ship. Apart from that, it doesn't really do anything. It's just a bit of plastic. They can't go anywhere, which is a bit of a disappointment that it doesn't go into the back of the ship. The back of the ship does open as well from this little clip here. It pulls down and it releases this sort of coffin type thing. Now again, this is different from the 2013 version, because the 2013 version, I think this was all solid grey, and they've actually made it clear plastic. So I think the whole thing was like this, but they've actually made this one clear. It's a bit annoying for me that this bit isn't actually for the Han Solo and Carbonite block. Maybe you can put him on there. I'll check that in a second. But ultimately, this area is to hold this sort of coffin thing, and that just clips up like so. Moving along down the other side of the ship, the opposite side, and as you can see, same sort of paintwork going on here with the nice weathering going on, nice paint apps there to muddy it all up. Does look good. Some nice scratch work going on here, as you can see. That's pretty nice. I think they've done a really good job with the overall paintwork of the Slave One. I think they've massively improved it. We're going to take a look at the cockpit now, and so this whole piece is going to open up, and we're going to do that right now. So there you go, there is the cockpit, and there is actually space for 3 figures. We're going to get Boba Fett and put him in a minute, and that is where you hold the carbon block, which is a bit annoying. I would have preferred it to be in the back. Those 2 stickers there had to be applied as well. So let's get the carbon block out. The carbon block itself is very similar to the one that you get in Jabba's palace, apart from I think that one's silver all over. This one's got a nice grey edge to it, and also some paint apps going on the sides. And again, I think this is an improvement to the 2013 version. where I think the whole thing was black. I don't think it had the detailing on the side. It's a really nice carbonite block actually, that one. Very nice. As you saw, that just fits in the front there. As I say, that's my only sort of complaint there. I wish it went into the back and had sort of some mechanism that when you pressed it, it sort of slid down or something. That would have been quite nice, but you can't have everything. Now, where you put your figures into the cockpit, that has a sort of gyroscope effect whereby if you tip the ship up, it's going to turn round. And I think you have to put the wings into a locking position, and that locks the cockpit in place. And I'll show you that in a second once we've got Boba Fett in there. But just to give you another view there, you can actually get 3 figures in there, which is pretty cool. So maybe you could have Bossk sitting behind him or something, which would be pretty cool. So let's get some figures in there and we'll see how that works. Okay, so as you can see, I've got Fett in there, Boba Fett, and he is attached by those little clips there. So you put the figure in and the clips go round him to keep him secure, so he's not going to fall out or anything like that. Then we're going to put the lid down to the cockpit, and then we're going to stand it up in its upright position so you can see the mechanism working. Okay then, so this might be a bit difficult to do, but I'm going to attempt it anyway. So basically you've got Fett in there, you can just see him through the windscreen there. And basically what's going to happen is when you pick up the Slave 1 and you tip it upright, what should happen is the gyroscope sort of tips forward and Fett should tip forward so you can see his face sticking out of the windscreen there. But I think what's going to happen is, because I've just tried this, is when you lift it up, he's just not quite heavy enough to go the full way back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another figure in there and see if that helps. Alright, so as you can see, I've got Bossk and Fett into the cockpit there, and then basically the cockpit as it stands right now is in lock position because it's on landing. So if you move that, the cockpit should stay straight, which it does. And then what you need to do is you need to lift it up and move the wings into flight mode, and then basically that unlocks the cockpit seat, which will then move into position. So we're going to try that out just now. Alright, so as you can see, I do have it in flight mode now on the stand, and the cockpit hasn't moved. So what you need to do is unlock it by using the wings, and there you go. So you can get a bit of light on there, you can see Bossk in the back. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's probably how I'm going to display it. I think it's too big to display down on the sort of landing position. It needs to be in flight mode like that, but it looks absolutely awesome. Just to give you another bit of a good look at it. I do apologise about the camera work on this video, but it's just so big. It's very, very difficult to get into complete shot. But I just wanted to go through some of the details with it for you and let you know my thoughts. And my thoughts are that I absolutely love it. I think it looks great. The detail on it is really, really nice. They've really improved it. And I just think perhaps the price tag is a little bit high, but you do get the stand. The box is lovely, of course. It is the vintage collection, so there is always a little bit of a premium on there. But I'm glad I've got it in my collection, and I think it's going to look very, very nice on display. Alright then guys, so that is the Vintage Collection Slave 1 from 2020. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, I do apologise, it's been a bit all over the place, but it is so difficult to film. But thank you very much for watching as per usual, and we shall see you on the next one.